Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So I'm here now with the topic on the speech, Harvard commencement speech by J.K. Rowling. So J.K. Rowling's introduction. The J.K. Rowling is a British author and a philanthropist. She wrote Harry Potter, a seven-volume children's fantasy series published from 1997 to 2017. The series has sold over 500 million copies, has been translated into at least 70 languages, and spawned a global media franchise including films and video games. In 2008, J.K. Rowling delivered a powerful graduation speech at Harvard University. It was in many ways absolutely spellbinding and quickly became the most viewed commencement address on Harvard's website. So the speech is about in this speech in this speech is a plea to her audience to avoid the pitfalls of privilege and to use their human capability of imagination to make a life for themselves and that really matters. And as Harry Potter author J.K. Rowling prepared her Harvard commencement speech, she felt a deep responsibility to deliver words of wisdom, and she decided to convey the lessons she learned the hard way and advice she wished someone had given her when she was a graduate. She came up with the two core lessons: appreciate the value of failing and recognize the importance of imagination. Rowling uses her first remarks to bring about audience connection with humble humor and self-depreciation. Deprecation. The first thing she would like to say is thank you. Not only has Harvard given her a chance of extraordinary honor, but the weeks of fear and nausea that she had endured at that thought of giving this address had made her lose her weight. So she gives a powerful message for all the audience of Harvard graduates, but for many other listeners across the globe, especially those with privilege and advantage. She says that failure are part of our life. They are inescapable, but one should be courageous to treat them as advantages to become strong. She fails in her life. She was separated from her husband. She did not have a job. She had to take care of her daughter, and it was the darkest period in her life. Only thing she had at that time was a great idea, and a whole typewriter, and a big hope. With all this, she rebuilt her life. She started writing stories during the lunch hours in her office. Later, this passion brought her great success when she published her first volume of Harry Potter from 1997 to 2007. The series has sold over 500 million copies. Such a huge success was waiting in her life to meet her, but she had to tolerate the pain, struggle, and failure for a long time. Here, especially in this speech, she talks about her life itself, how she faced the failures. She had the failures in her life, that's a huge failures, and she shared that failures and she suggests people, there's a graduates, Harvard graduates, to use the struggles for becoming more stronger, use the failures and as a advantages to become more and more stronger. She faced failures in her life, but she never lose hope in her life. She whatever she wanted to do, she stick to that in working hours. In working hours, when she got lunch breaks, she used to follow her passion, which is writing book. She wrote a story of Harry Potter, and with that passion gave her a big success, a great success, which she did not even she did not even expect that huge success she got. So she's suggesting graduates and also other people to use their privileges to raise voice against them who does not have the voice. She also plead for this. Throughout the country, wherever we are, if we are privileged, somehow we will impact and if any issues are going on, we should raise our voice for them who does not have voice, who does not have the voice. This is helpfully in her audiences. And also, Rowling identified her greatest fear as the fear of failure. Her greatest fear was fearing for the failure. And she goes on to recount that 7 years after her university graduation, she was, by any objective measure of failure, she found herself divorced, unemployed, a single parent, and quite poor. In other words, her greatest fear had become a reality. But in this difficulty, she found liberty. Whatever fear she had of failure, that a failure has come in her life and in a reality, and she faced that liberty and that fear with the liberty. But she had the liberty for her in a difficulty time. She had the freedom. She had the liberty for her life, uh, and she had no way of knowing how her story would play out. But the success she would achieve at that stage was merely a dream. And yet she had this to say about how failure served her. Failures meant the stripping away of the essential. I stopped pretending to myself that I was anything other than what I was, and began to direct all my energy at the only work that I ever mattered to me. So in that difficult time also, what she's saying is, in the difficult timing also, even for the survival, she has to work in some institute. Along with that, she followed her uh, passion. Actually, what mattered to her is her passion, and she put her some of energy for that passion, and that gave her the success. And then Rawlings' own interpretation, so Stoicism enchanted with powers of metaphor, that is, rock bottom became the solid foundation on which she built her life. The rock bottom, whatever she thought that whether it's going to give the success or not, she's not sure, but that was her wish and that was her passion. So she followed that, and that rock bottom become a solid foundation to rebuild her life. And J.K. Rowling has an original take on the subject. Essentially, her argument is that only humans have the capacity to appreciate the situation of others. Her, as she puts it, they can think themselves into other people's places, and it is our duty to use this power coupled with our privilege to make the world a better place. As I told you before, our plea is to use the people's privilege. One who have the privileges or advantage, they should use their privilege, their advantages to raise the voice against them who does not have the voice. There are many countries and many people, many innocent people who are suffering with many kind of things. For that we need to raise our voice. That's what she's saying. So this is another uh, thing she was requesting in her audiences. And also she says that the only humans have the capacity of imagination. One, we can understand the situation even if we are not really present in that situation. For example, a recent crisis in Russia and yeah, recent war in Ukraine and Russia war, we all know. Even though if you are not physically present there, we can see everything online. We can watch them, and also we can assume the more worse situation which is not seen on the videos. We can assume their difficulties. We can imagine their situation, and we can help them out. To help them out, we have to use our privileges. We have to vote for the right side, and we can somehow impact that from our country. As a citizen of our country, if we rise, every individual rise a voice against the right country, so then our country will support to the same country. So that's how one can use their privileges to raise voice against the one who does not have voice. And also, the enemies of the progress are the willingly unimaginative, because We could all fall into the trap where we refuse to hear screams or peers into cages. Profoundly, she says, what is more, those who choose not to be empathize and ever real monsters. For without ever committing an act of outright evil ourselves, we collude with it through our own apathy. We have the power to imagine better. So, willingly, if we are not imaginative, if we're not imagining of other situation, if we are not helping them out, so some other day we can hear more screams and more peers of not imaginative. One who are not imaginative, they can hear more screams than one who are imaginative. So she appeals in a people to imagine of imagine of the innocent people situation and help them out with your privileges. So this is all about J.K. Rowling's speech. Guys, hope you are clear with the speech that she has given. So thank you very much, guys. All the best.